Boom, 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 boom. Hey all, welcome to Circle of Tone. It's been a year. It's been a year, and what do you get? Queens of the Stone Age, a video I've already done in the past. And I also have some strong opinions. Strong opinions on this channel? No way. Never. Strong opinions on what made my favourite era. And it's not so much gear. Gear does come into it. There's been new information about gear. Before we get to the secrets, thanks to my patrons of Tone. And look at these dudes. I haven't done nothing for a year. And all these legends. Richard P. and Co. He's still there. So, thank you. Let's get on to it. I got a creaky chair, seriously? Fuck. Alright, so what makes that specific era? There's certain eras of Queens of the Stone Age that were just better. And why is that? I've compiled a lot of his gear and I've put it in the description. I'll just do a quick video of what I used. There's some subtle stuff when it comes to the guitar gear and the way I've had my pedals sorted out that shows you really the secret to his guitar tone. So I'm not sure if you can read between the lines of what I think makes this amazing guitar tone. Even though I did use my fine china, I used a Shin E fuzz, I used some nice JHS delays, the choruses. I used my best guitar that I've ever played, which is a 70s Yamaha SG 1500, and a bass cabinet, a 6x10 Schroeder. So yeah, read between the lines of what I think makes this an amazing guitar tone. If you wonder what room I'm in a coal chamber, an actual coal cellar in my basement, which I'm turning into a bit of a guitar booth. It's Nick Oliveri, dude. You take Nick out of Queens of the Stone Age, all their hits just disappear. There's something about his energy, not just his tone, although his tone, there is some information on a little combo called the Peavey Decade regarding his tone. It's not just that, he's got massive SVT stacks as well, you know, huge bass stacks with this little thing in between them. His playing style, his energy, the way it syncs with the drums without being spot on all the time, even though sometimes it's almost like a metronome. He is a huge loss to Queens of the Stone Age when it comes to the guitar tone. I used the original drums and bass, right, as my backing track for my intro track. Listen to the isolated guitar. Is that an amazing guitar sound? I will give it its due. It is Moorish. It does have vibe, and it does have character and all that good stuff that we appreciate, because we're not into huge tones with Queens of the Stone Age. It's more of just the whole band pushing in one direction altogether, which makes it a gestalt entity. I keep on saying the word gestalt. What does that mean? It means the sum of its parts are better than the individual, right? So you take out an individual as big as Oliveri, and all of a sudden you kind of get Queens of the Stone Age on ice. Where he has some good players, hired guns, if you want to say it. You know, it's like the Megadeth thing where it's not as rock and roll, and that he got kicked out of Queens of the Stone Age for being a bit too rock and roll. Let's talk about what's missing in rock and roll. It's my channel, after all. So what I talk about. Josh Homme. There is a lot of iconography. There's a lot of seedy underculture art that comes with this style of music, right? But if you're going to be cool, you can't just jettison the crazy, methed out rock and roll, middle finger to the press. They jettisoned all of that, and then you become more bland. I'm telling you, talk about the bass player. You might not know, but he's had trouble with the law. He's had trouble with substance abuse. He's gotten naked on stage, gets in trouble all the time. But that's fucking rock and roll, dude. If you are the girlfriend of Oliveri, you see he's cracked out. You see he's drunk out of his mind all the time. He is rock and roll. He's naked on stage. What do you think he's going to do? Do you think he's going to Sunday school and then, you know, being the perfect guy behind the scenes? No, he's fucking rock and roll, dude. So all these things coming up about certain people, oh, they were not angels, you know. So Josh kicked a camera and it hit a woman in the face. So fucking what, dude? Big fucking deal. If they were told there's no flash photography down here and he sees a camera and kicks it and it hits a girl in the face, who fucking cares? All right? Rock and roll. This is how sensitive rock and metal has gotten, right? So he used the Fulltone Ultimate Octave Superfuzz pedal, right? That company has been banned from Guitar Center because he complained about people smashing up Minneapolis with the George Floyd stuff. So just because he complained that, you know, people were being lawless, suddenly he's Nazi, racist, all the rest of it. What I'm getting at is, if you're Josh Homme, if you're going to have the haircut, if you're going to have the leather jackets, if you're going to have the tattoos, if you're going to have that rock and roll mythos surrounding you, you can't just fucking turn your back on people making mistakes. I know it's a pain in the ass way. Look, you're a big boy. If he doesn't turn up to sound checks, if he doesn't turn up to certain gigs, have the bass fucking tech learn all his parts. It's not an insurmountable mountain if you have a fucking crazy person in your band. You know, it's like, let's get scientific about it. Let's actually get nerdy about it. So he needs to be, if they want to get their hits back, if they want to get their mojo back in this band, you need crazy fucking wild-eyed bastards like him in your band, I'm telling you. So this isn't about a gear video. This is all about attitude, you know? It's like, I don't care. Like, he had some issues with whatever woman he was banging at the time. I don't care, you know? Did he beat him? I don't know. Do I care that much? If you dance with the devil, if you're going to be, you're on drugs with him. Like, I used to go to all the Biketoberfest and stuff like that. I don't go there expecting to have a really nice, dainty time. Let's put it that way. So if you're seeing one of those dudes, you can't fucking expect not to get caught up in some bullshit, dude. Let's get some fucking personal responsibility, right? So yeah, so that's what I think is missing in rock and metal, is we need more Axl Roses. We need more assholes. We need, I mean, like, I kind of, even though I complain about nerds and music on rails and the rest of it with Falling in Reverse, I like it that he's a chopsy bastard.
I'm a fan, no longer am. It's too bad. Your band is great, but you have an attitude.
I need to change my underwear.
I like him. I think that's what we need, is more anti-heroes, you know? So it's a tight line. It's a tight line when it becomes, when you are like the White Stripes. If you get a better drummer in the White Stripes, it's not as good because it's not as loosey-goosey and it's not as... She had decent power, she had decent rhythm. You know, it's like he went a bit more plastic after she left because he lost a lot of swing, a lot of look as well. The look is cool. The first bite is with the eye in rock. So you can't... When you're Queens of the Stone Age, you can't have the sick fucking tattoos and the counterculture and the rebel attitude. And then as soon as somebody starts fucking up and being an actual rebel, you kick him to the curb because you know that Hollywood doesn't like that type of thing. So I think things are changing a little bit. I've seen it in comedy. I've seen things getting a little bit riskier in comedy. That's part of the reason why I've been away from YouTube is you can't be yourself. You can't swear within the first couple of seconds, otherwise you get demoted. You know, there's all sorts of little things going on that just waters down the experience of alternate media like mine, you know, we do need a new space. I'm hoping that X does open the door to a little bit more chaotic content. Something that is actual counterculture, you know? So that was a bit of a rant, but you know, this is Circular Tone. And I've been really frustrated about people, like, you see all this nerdy shit in the background. This is the problem in rock and metal. The DAW, Pro Tools, everything snapped to a grid, drum replacement. The part of the charm of Queens of the Stone Age is that it does sound like a band playing. Even though some of it is tracked separately, even on Songs of the Deaf, especially the ones that Dave Grohl played on, they actually recorded the drums and the cymbals and the hi-hat separate. That's how they got that amazing separation. But also, I think it works because you've got two rhythms going. So it's kind of like not perfect, but it's perfect at the same time. It's really hard to explain. No One Knows is one of the best rock songs of the last era before guitar started going completely snap to a grid with complete drum replacement. And who was in that? Oh, Nick Oliveri. That's weird, isn't it? Weird how Mr. Badass, Mr. Rock and Roll, Mr. fucking Blood and Guts and Thunder gets, is just involved in all of their big hits. And speaking of which, all the drama about Dave Grohl, did you hear about Dave Grohl? Holy shit. You know, his dad was the head of a savings and loan Washington banker, globalist lobbyist. Did you know that? That's great gossip, right? That's the gossip you're thinking of, right? Did you know that as soon as he joined Nirvana, that Nirvana got to pick whatever record label record producer they wanted. They could pick any studio they wanted. Their budget went through the roof for Nevermind. As soon as he joined, you know what I mean? Nepotism, I'm telling you. Some of the Nepo babies that have parents that are attached to the Washington war profiteer slumlords, some of these Nepo babies like Dave Grohl, they are pretty damn talented. I'll give him that. But yeah, Mr. Punk Rock, his daddy used to write speeches for Ronald Reagan. That's the gossip you're thinking of, right? Who the fuck cares that he was banging some big titty goth chick? I mean, that is rock and roll, brother. You know what I mean? Personal responsibility. I do talk about gear a lot, and I am a fucking nerd. Eric Valentine is like an extra member of the band.
Quite easy.
Yeah, give it a go.
The first thing is that the amp that we're using is not a guitar amp, it's a bass amp. I've got this little MXR 10-band graphic equalizer. So there were some songs that were done out in a bigger room, but a lot of it was done in these very sort of small, claustrophobic little isolation booths, and the resonance of the room without it getting sort of splashy and reverberant. A lot of the guitar equipment that was used is not guitar equipment. These amp heads, old Peaveys, all solid state stuff. So there's just an insane amount of microphones going on, and then this weird salt shaker mic.
What? What does that mean?
410 cabinet, C37A right here. That's
No, what?
Tube condensers. Silvertone, Jupiter.
What?
Ampeg B15. Sony mic. RCA 44. Sennheiser 441.
Okay.
All gets summed together. a little bit of compression with the distressor.
Which one of you bitches wants to dance?
His production of that era of Queens of the Stone Age was phenomenal. Because usually on bass amplifiers, loud, I've broken a ribbon microphone micing up a 15-inch bass cabinet. You live and you learn. There's literally a really delicate metal foil ribbon inside. That's why it's called a ribbon mic, right? I love volume, but it actually blows it and breaks it, literally blows it, right? Blows the microphone. But because he had this little thing called the Peavey Decade, which he used on the guitar and bass, and I can hear that. You know, usually he's like, oh, he's lying about it. No, he used the Peavey Decade on that bass for No One Knows. I can hear it. It is fucking obvious. But he also had big bass stacks on the side of it to fill out the big bass. But the actual tonality of it is definitely that speaker, that combo. Because it's a little tiny combo, it's not going to blow the microphone. So he had ribbons of warm too. So obviously you've got a tinny little tiny, is it even a 1x10? It might even be a 1x8 Peavey Decade solid state $30 amplifier at the time. Now they're like $200. Still cheap though. I'm going to get one. So he mic'd that up with huge SVT Ampeg cabinets. So that is some imaginative stuff where you're using ribbons, where you're not supposed to use ribbons on bass, but you use that on bass, on that little combo with more standard microphones. I have some microphone information as well in the description of specifically what he used. But then doing the big, the usual 8x10 stacks of bass or whatever. So, and I actually used bass speakers on my guitars on this. It doesn't matter because my tone sounds nothing like his. I just wanted to kind of prove that mine could sound good regardless of what I was using because of the bass. The bass is the fucking secret of the guitar tone for Queens of the Stone Age. But holy shit, what a lot of emphasis needs to be put on Oliveri, the bass player, ex-bass player. And I think he wants to get back. The guitar nerds, nice guys, have all taken over the space, and it's fucking boring. Let's go back to kicking cameras out of people's fucking hands. You know what I mean? It's all blah, 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 blah. Let's get, who cares? Circle of Tone.